start talking about
They
it.
have a big series starting tonight with the Red Sox.
With the
They
Red
do,
Sox.
yeah.
Oh, man.
And then,
I think Shields is pitching tonight.
yeah. Their pitching's been very steady. Very steady.
Nobody could have
No.
could have guessed it.
Nobody's having that outstanding a year. It's just they're all doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're remarkable. I think the best batting average is 280 or something. But they sure can play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, thanks so much for letting us come.
Good.
Gary made a donation to a baseball park in Ashland, Kentucky that he played at. His father was a coach there for a number of years,
I see.
and they are refurbishing the city park that we called CP-1, Central Park 1, and CP-2 is the secondary diamond. But every Sunday in the paper, you could see the list of all the games to be played, and the desire of all the boys was to play at CP1 because that was the big diamond, and that's the one that Gary's gift is refurbishing. Going to have a backstop like the Cubs with brick around it, and it's just really going to be a nice addition in memory of his father.
That'd be great.
So we're doing a documentary about the boys who played there, and it's been all of a sudden it's been 50 years ago that we were players. And the documentary is going to focus on the boys who played there and the men who influenced them. And my goal is to get the perspective of somebody that excelled at a very high level in the majors and get the memories you have of when you were at this stage of your life, when you were mid-teens, 14, 15, 16, playing baseball. And was there one certain place that you had that was like the place where everybody wanted to play, that was the one you aspired to?
Well, there were two. I was in Springfield, Illinois, and one was Lincoln Park, which was an open park, but they had a baseball diamond with the backstop and everything. And we played our high school games there. But there was also a a major 3I League ballpark in Springfield, Illinois. And when we had our championship tournaments and that, we played in that park. And that park certainly was a place we really liked to play. And ironically enough, it's now called Robin Roberts Stadium. So, and in fact, I was just back there, maybe a month ago. And they have a team there this year. They're playing in the college league, one of the teams in Springfield, Illinois. So that was basically the place where we played when we had tournaments. But Lincoln Park was the one where we showed up and played all our games.
Okay. When you were, at what age did you really feel for certain that you had a level of talent that was extraordinary, beyond your peers?
Mine's a peculiar one because in my day, in the group I played with, we all played football, basketball, and baseball. And we had no favorites. I mean, we would play football till Thanksgiving, and then we'd play basketball till the snows melted, and then we'd play baseball, and then we'd play all summer long. And I started playing regular baseball when I was about 15. Up to then, we played mostly softball, and we'd hit 100 times and have 4 men on a team, that sort of thing. And we didn't have an organized baseball program until probably the American Legion started about 14 or 15. That's when we first were organized. Otherwise, we had games among ourselves, and we had a backyard ball diamond and kept batting averages and everything. I remember one of the best players was a girl named Doris Kuhn. She was our best player up to about 15, and then she disappeared. I don't know where she went, but she didn't make the major leagues.
So you didn't start pitching baseball till age 15?
No, I was probably 16. I was a third baseman most of the time. And one summer we needed somebody could throw it over, and I could throw it over. So I became a pitcher, really wanting to play at third base. I was a good third baseman. I enjoyed playing all the time. And when I went to college, Michigan State, I went on a basketball scholarship. And I got there in December. They were on a quarter system. So I got there in December of No, in January of 45. And then I played basketball for 3 months. Then I went in the Army. And I came back in November, and I was able to play basketball again. So I played 2 seasons of basketball before I was ever at state during a baseball season. And they didn't know I played baseball, and I went out after the second year of basketball, and the coach that knew me from basketball said, "What are you doing out here?" And I said, "I can play your game, coach." And he said, "What do you play?" I said, "What do you need?" And he didn't need a third baseman, he needed pitching. And, so I pitched from then on.
And not long after that, you were playing in the pros.
Well, I played 2 summers up in Vermont, which really helped me. That was a summer college league. And the second year I was up there, I was on an awful good team, and I was pitching well. And Phillies, I worked out with the Phillies, and they gave me a nice bonus. And it was ironic. They said they would. I took the bonus and built my mother a home, which I knew I was going to do that if I got enough money. And they said they'd keep it quiet till March, so I could play my basketball, but it came out right away. So I wasn't able to play basketball my senior year, which was quite a disappointment. But I've gotten over it.
So who were the influences in your baseball career from the early years on?
Well, Lou Gehrig, probably strictly from newspapers, of course. My first guy I really related to was Bill Nicholson with the Cubs. I was from Springfield, Illinois, and I was a Cub fan. And Bill came up, and I remember he hit a home run against Cincinnati. I beat him 1-0. So he was my boy from then on, and ironically enough, I pitched against him when I came up. He was still with the Cubs, and they traded him to the Phillies. So I spent a year and a half, 2 years with Bill on my club, and I used to follow him around like a little dog. He was my man, but he enjoyed that very much.
At what point did you say you played baseball a couple summers in Vermont? When did you feel fairly certain that you could play at the major league level?
I never gave it a thought, really. It sounds crazy, but I was just enjoying myself, and having a good time and going to college. And I was a pretty good basketball player. And of the 2 sports, I probably was more valuable as a basketball player until I started pitching. And then once I started pitching, it was just a matter of time before the Phillies offered me the money and I got into pro ball. I don't believe I would have been a pro basketball player, but I may have been a fringe guy anyhow. I enjoyed playing, and I played some good basketball at Michigan State.
Well, I told you I wouldn't go into your major league career, but I just got to ask you a couple things. You had a lot of wins for a team that didn't win a lot.
Well, that's not a fair assessment, because the years I won 20 games, we were good. We were a good club. We weren't top drawer like the Dodgers or the Braves or the Giants. They were good clubs. But we were always in the running up to September, and we never quite made it after that. Of course, the year 50, we held on and won it.
Right.
But all the other years, I remember in 53 or 4, we were in the running good into September. And then in 57, when I had a terrible year, we were on top of the league July the 10th or something. So it's not fair to say I wasn't on a good club. Now, when we were a bad club, I didn't win 20 games.
Right, but you
I was as bad as the club.
But you won what, 28?
Yeah, I won 20. Well, I won 15 first year I pitched regular. Then I won 20. Then I won 21. Then I won 28. Then I won 23, 3 years in a row. So I had 6 years of 20 games, and it's kind of ironic. I had 19 the 7th year, and nobody mentions it. You got to get 20. 19 won't do.
Right, right.
I probably had one guy that meant more to me athletically. I was in a little 2-room country school. You'd have 4 rooms, 4 classes in one room and 4 classes in the other. And when I graduated up to the 5th grade, we had a new teacher come in. His name was C.B. Lindsay. He's a young teacher, very much athletically inclined. And he started basketball at that little school. We played all away games. We didn't have a gym. We had the basket with cinders outside. But that's when I first started playing sports, and then we'd play softball in the spring. But he had more influence on me as far as that goes, not only as a student but as an athlete. He thought I was going to be a good player, and it's kind of nice to have a guy that age, your teacher, think that about you.
Fantastic. Perfect interview. I couldn't ask for more. When I saw you the other day on the game and I heard you talking, I thought, man, you got it together. I really need to have you talking about your influences. I greatly appreciate this.
And on again,
Yes.
I will.
Okay.
My father was from Wales. He was a coal miner. He came over to Springfield, Illinois. That's where he did coal in Springfield. Fortunately, he got out of it about 8 years later and became a night watchman, and that was much better than his coal mining job, I believe. But he had no interest in working with us. You know what I mean? I had three brothers, not older, one younger and two older. So we had enough. We didn't need father, to help us out. But he wasn't athletically inclined at all, and he came out one day where my brother was hitting fungos to me. I used to dive and catch him when I enjoyed it. So Dad thought he would try it. He took 3 swings and gave the bat back to my brother, and that was his total contribution to my active baseball career. But one day we were playing basketball, and the ball rolled over to him, and he was working in the garden or something, and he banged it with his foot and he kicked it back really nice. So we found out that was his only sport was soccer, right? But I never played soccer.
Terrific.